Hello everyone, I am Lexi Lewis and I'm here with David Gonzales, who is the president of World of Dance, a great organization. And I'm going to ask you, Dave, if you tell the folks a little bit about World of Dance and what you do there.
Sure. Well, the World of Dance is a global brand, and what it is a dance competition as well as a lifestyle movement. And the way we interpret dance is the competition is what people experience as a singular event, but the World of Dance as a brand needs to live in people's minds every day.
Okay. So why were you inspired to start World of Dance?
Well, the World of Dance, maybe 20 years ago, sounds like I dated myself right there, but maybe 20 years ago, a couple friends of mine had asked me to get involved in more of a b-boy competition, and it was a specific style of dance. And at the time, I was between working with them, and then there was an automotive company that did lifestyle events called Hot in Portland. It was a large lifestyle festival. I opted to go towards the automotive scene at the time, and we built that company up and did very well with it, and sold the company. And 20 years later, I remembered that these guys had said, hey, we wanted your help in the b-boy industry, but the climate had changed and a lot of choreo groups were out, and there were different styles of dance like crumping and jerking and choreography and so forth. And we decided to say, maybe there's an opportunity to develop an event brand that is all urban styles of dance wrapped in one. So that's what sort of led to World of Dance.
So that's how we're born, huh? Now, does World of Dance have a mission statement?
I probably should. No, it currently does not, but I would say that if I was creating it on the fly, we believe that there is a traditional dance industry, and everything from commercial gigs, concerts, touring, and so forth. And there's sort of a consumer dance industry that's being born today, and that's everything from people taking classes and lessons to YouTube stars that have developed large followings. And I would say if World of Dance had a mission, it's probably to bridge those two communities together to create one industry. A lot of times the street scene is viewed as exactly that, a street community. And sometimes people don't see that as an industry, but we see it as an industry because the street scene is actually what has a lot of interest from a consumer level. And some of the people that are dancing on the streets have no formal education in dance, yet their content is so compelling that it's getting millions and millions and millions of views, whether it be YouTube or whether it be commercial television. And that in itself shows that the street scene and the street styles have a lot of interest. And really what we're trying to do is create an industry by bringing non-endemic brands into this sort of dance culture that we're creating. And that's pretty much what we're trying to do.
Okay, so would you say that World of Dance is on track for the vision that you have for it?
Very much so. When we started, the first objective was let's just get our footprint in the community domestically. So we started in the U.S. saying we want to build a tour. We wanted to be in as many major markets as possible in the shortest amount of time. So within 3 years, we've actually developed ourselves into 14 U.S. markets, most of the major ones. We've also developed a leg in Canada as well as Europe. And because of the internet and the audience that we're focused on, we're actually getting a tremendous amount of requests. So countries like France, Russia, Slovakia, Asia, and there's a lot of interest. And I think that has to do with the fact that dance is universal, and a lot of what people are dancing to, it's not necessarily based on interpreting the music anymore, it's more focused on the movement of the dancers. And I think there's a large global audience that is interested in what we're doing.
Now, why would a dancer be encouraged to join World of Dance? What are the advantages of being affiliated with World of Dance?
Well, I think one of the advantages is that there's there's different kinds of competitions. So for instance, traditional competitions, they focus on ages maybe 4 to 12 years old, and they're more about the parents and the children participating, and a lot of times it's the parents kind of watching. I think where World of Dance has a nice little industry that we're creating is we're really focused on maybe 12 to 24. And that scene is highly attractive by brands. specifically because of the fact that these are all social savvy kids. Content travels a lot, and I think one thing about World of Dance is we have an ability to break, for instance, an unheard of artist, dance artist, and if they do something special on our stage where there's thousands of kids that are sort of viewing that content or filming it or spreading it, the odds of virality from our scene is actually very high. And I'd probably give one example as a group called the Twins from France.
Yes, yes.
Their video probably is somewhere in the realm of 10 million views at this point in time. And there was a film company called Yak Films that filmed them at one of our events.
Yes.
And that video went viral, and virtually these guys were probably unheard of in the US market, but yet after that video series went viral, they started getting a lot of interest in the US market. And I would say that's partially because of World of Dance and the audience that views our content. They help spread it virally, and they've actually gotten gigs on Beyonce and different tours and things like that. So I think that those are all part and parcel related to World of Dance.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. Now, I know that there's competitions and things, but does World of Dance offer classes?
We will. Right now, we were focused on building the live event tour first as part of our brand.
Okay.
And the second component of our brand was building a media reach. So we had partnered with a technology company that allowed us to create what's called a YouTube vertical. And in the YouTube space, a vertical means like you have a channel, I have a channel. Your channel might have millions of views, my channel might have millions of views, but together that's more. We have what's called a dance vertical, and there's currently about 250 channels. Some of them are starting, and some of them are very established. But together as a media whole, we're probably doing about 35 million views now monthly. And I think the media side and the live event side work together. But getting to your point about teaching classes,
Yes.
you have to have the reach to be able to teach the classes, and that's one of the things that we focused on first. Live event, media, and then comes, I would say, business extensions from having those two pieces.
Yes, that's a good way to put that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, for your competitions, what's the criterion used to select your competitors?
Well, that's probably not something I could speak on. I have partners in the business, Myron Martin. He also has some directors that work under him that are way more experienced in dancing. So when it comes to picking the dancers, selecting them, and so forth, that really falls in their court. From my standpoint, I'm just happy that we have some of the best people performing, and that we have people on our staff that know who they are.
Speaking of people who perform, give me some names of some people that perform with some of the major stars today,
Sure.
Or even in the past,
I think what's interesting is broadcast television has sort of created brands and created dancers. So programs like So You Think You Can Dance or America's Best Dance Crew, Dancing with the Stars, a lot of times the popularity is built through broadcast, but there's not really a ground level competition. And I think World of Dance has really honed in on that opportunity, and we've sort of become that celebration of consumers meeting their stars as well as a competition element. So when I look at our stars, I mean, we've had everyone. I mean, whether it's people like the Jabberwockies, Quest Crew, Boreotics, basically all the winners of America's Best Dance Crew, they've been on our show. If you take movies like Step Up or the Step Up Revolutions, Catherine McCormick, Megan Toon, these are all people that are in movies that are also at our events. And then when you take competitions like So You Think You Can Dance, you have people like Legacy and other dancers that are very experienced. So we're sort of a melting pot. We don't necessarily align ourselves with any one media. We're actually open to everybody participating and basically participating in the community.
Okay. What's next for World of Dance? What's on the agenda?
It's on the agenda. Probably, this is a boring answer, but on the agenda is really infrastructure at this moment.
Okay.
We've grown the company relatively large in a very short amount of time. It's been sort of an organic growth. So I think in the next year or so, we're really going to need to work on refining our internal infrastructure. So that's the boring answer. But I think the answer you'd probably be more interested in hearing is we do have plans of expanding the European market.
Yes.
We have plans of expanding into Asia, Australia. Those are markets that have high interest in what we're doing. And I think the other thing that is very important is the YouTube network and creating an environment where we are able to bring brands into our live event as well as to our YouTube partners. That's something that's on the horizon.
Great. Now, how can people get more information about World of Dance?
Well, from a consumer level, you can log onto our website. It's www.worldofdance.com. If you're looking for more of a business level, I would say you probably have to call and request kind of our business overview. But we have a pretty in-depth overview that explains what we're doing.
Great.
We're happy to share it with anybody as long as it's in the nature of business.
Sure, sure. Well, this is David Gonzales, World of Dance. Please check out World of Dance at www.worldofdance.com. Thank you so much.
Thank you.